I have the coolest guest on the show today, my friends, Amanda J. It is so great to see you today on this beautiful sunny day. Please introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. So my name is Amanda Jefferson. I left a big job about 6 years ago to start my own company and become a professional organizer. I trained
Mhm.
under Marie Kondo and became one of the world's first KonMari consultants. And I founded my company, which is called Indigo Organizing. So essentially, I help beautiful people simplify their lives at home and work, and I do it in a lot of different ways. So I work one-on-one with clients in the Philly area. I have an
Mhm.
online course called Organized Every Day. I have my own podcast called Good Enough-ish. And what we're going to talk about a lot today is I speak to groups about how to quiet the noisy shoulds of our society and start listening to their own inner voice. So that's a little.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you, Amanda. And you're quite humble because the should topic was on the TED stage last month and it's fabulous. And I'll most likely put the link in the show notes because everybody should watch it. Um, and you're humble. Yes, Marie Kondo. I'm going to repeat that. If anyone doesn't know who that is, like she had a Netflix special, she had a book. It's just an incredible journey. So I love that connection here because I've done a little bit of what you've done, but your stories are fantastic. So
Mm.
let's lean into that talk, Amanda, that you presented on the stage with your work and how what we mean when you say how we should quit the shoulds. What is that about?
Right. So I delivered a TEDx talk at Rutgers Camden in middle of January. And the title of the talk is The Unspoken and Outdated Rules Living in Our Closets. And
Mm.
it came from this thing that happened with a client once where, she put on this black blazer. It's the story that I start the talk with, and turned and looked at herself in the mirror and started like frowning and sighing and basically said to me, I hate it, but I'm going to keep it because they say that everyone should have a black blazer.
Mm.
And it just started me on this journey of really just thinking about how these rules that we follow, and in so many ways, my role as an organizer is just giving people permission to start letting go of those rules and start
Right,
to listen to themselves. Because in KonMari, we say, does it spark joy? So it's
right.
a lot about helping people follow their own joy and not some should that somebody in society made up for us.
It's so brilliant with the work that you do because it does start from the inside. The happiness
Mm,
is an inside job, right?
yeah.
And another term that you've used and that I've seen is, people should put on social earmuffs, right? To try to block that noise that is, demanding our behavior, if you will. And you're saying, hold on a second. It's
Yeah.
not that black blazer's not making you happy. Let's think about why it's still in your closet and how we can move forward from that. So, what are some tools, Amanda, then that you use in this process to help your clients get to that other side and help them get happy with what they see in front of them?
Right. A lot of times it's really just learning to tune into yourself and your body language. I spend a lot of time, it's hard for me because I'm a talker, but one of the things that I have had to learn as an organizer is to be quiet and let
Mm.
people talk themselves through it. Because a lot of times we really do have the answer inside of ourselves, but those social norms and those traditions are so ingrained in us that it's so easy just to kind of let it dictate what you're going to do. But I really just, one of the things I ask people is it a hell yes? And if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And usually people can recognize that hell yes versus well,
Right,
maybe, I don't know. And everyone should have a black blazer and
right, right.
maybe I should, so really, and asking people to pay attention to that word should versus want. Well, I should keep this interview suit because not, I love this interview suit. I look amazing in it. I can't wait to wear it. I
Right.
should.
Right, right. There's a difference in the tone, absolutely. And like you said, the body language, and I was also thinking about what you just said. Is it also, do you think about acceptance, right? We all want to be seen and heard, and we want
Mhm.
to wear the things that other people get accepted in, if you will. Is this, could that be a driver? to perhaps why we hold on to things? Is it about acceptance and we kind of want to go with the crowd? Like, are we too afraid to be ourselves? I don't know.
Yes. It's so much about acceptance. I mean, that's so much of what I talk about in the TEDx talk. It's about fitting in and belonging. And, I tell a story about when I was in middle school and, my neighbor running up to me because it was my first day in a brand new school saying, like, you have to roll your jeans. Here we roll our jeans. And as a middle schooler, it was like, okay, that's what you got to do. You cannot show up at this place without your jeans rolled. You have to be accepted. And so a lot of times I feel like we do still walk through with that middle school, that tumultuous middle school mentality of just toe the line, don't ruffle any feathers. And
Right.
I want to challenge that. I want us to start ruffling some feathers because these rules, as I started to investigate, silly things like why do men wear pants? And why do brides wear white? And why do we wear high heels? When you start to dig into the reasons, it's really ridiculous.
There, right? It is ridiculous. Why do we want to wear these painful shoes, right?
Right.
What is it?
Right. I know. I've been watching Veep this week, and she does a lot of. Have you ever watched Veep with
She's
Julia Lewis?
hilarious.
Oh my gosh, she does a lot of running in Veep, and she's always taking off her pointy heels, grabbing them, and running. And I was thinking we need to get her some more sensible shoes.
Right, right.
Yeah,
And I think that, you know what, why it's important to know this is today, as we're going for new jobs and job interviews, there's a lot of work that I've been doing, and I'm sure you speak
yeah,
to it as well, in how do I dress for this interview, right? And I say, yes, it's important to dress a certain way, but you have to be your authentic self. And I
hmm
think ultimately, then that's a success story that we want to hear, right?
right. Because you think about that black blazer, for example, there's going to be 45 people at that job interview wearing the black blazer.
Right.
But if you're rocking something really new and fresh and bright and you're really going to stand out. You're
That's right.
not just going to be black blazer number 42.
Right. Right.
So, and I think the thing that I really appreciated about the TEDx team, and really there's such a long process that goes into honing your idea. And they really pushed me, I think the younger people, because it was a student run TEDx, the younger people really push you to say it out loud. And so I said words like the patriarchy. These rules were created by the patriarchy. And that, I think, I don't know, I'm used to kind of skirting around words like that a little bit, but they were
Yeah. Yeah.
encouraging me to just kind of put it out there. And I think that gives a lot more power to, what I'm trying to say, because it's about so much more. When I would tell people the title of my talk, they would be like, oh yeah, it's about like, don't wear white after Labor Day. It's like, nope, it's about a lot
Oh, it was
more.
so much more. It was so much more. And I think as I'm leaning in more to what we're talking about here, it is about confidence, right? Let's go back
Mm,
to your client in the black blazer. She puts it on. She's like, right? So if you're dressed like that and you're going for something, say a job interview, you need to be your most confident self. So
yes.
therein, it's so important to have those clothing pieces and choices that have you become your most confident self in the mirror, so that when you're challenged, say with an interview question, you feel good about it from the inside out, right?
Yes, yes. And in KonMari, there's 5 categories that we do. And the first category is clothing, because clothing really does, it just sets the entire tone for the day.
Right.
If you walk into your closet and whatever you put on, you feel like $1,000,000, even if you're just going to be sitting and working at your computer that day. If you like you today, you've got the bold glasses, you've got
Yep.
the bold lip, like
Yep.
you feel like $1,000,000. So many of my clients, when they walk into their closets, they do not feel that way. They feel like their closets are talking to them and saying, you need to lose 20 pounds, or you don't look good in
Oh,
ruffles, or teal isn't good on you, or you haven't worn that suit in 20 years. And it's talking to them with all of these messages. And I'm
yeah.
trying to get them to the point. Like I had a client that told me that she could get dressed with her eyes closed because now she knew that it was like shooting fish in a barrel in her closet. She loved everything. Everything looked great on
Awesome.
her. She could choose
Yeah,
anything she loved
right.
and wear that day.
What an incredible feeling for her and for you. Because it's a transformative process. The work that you do is no joke because that's the way we should feel. We deserve to feel 100% every day.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've said this to you, when we initially talked, like every hanger has a story,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's, yeah, you should lose 20 pounds so this can fit you again, or, my mother gave this to me and she's no
Yes.
longer with us, so I need to hold on to this. And there's so many stories that, and I think it's like you said, just let them talk about it, and that helps them release and let go. That's a
Mm-hmm.
huge process.
Yes. I I had a conversation with a woman the other day and she was talking about a soup pot, whether or not she should keep this soup pot. And it turned into a conversation about, she's 80 years old. It turned into a conversation about mortality and youth and how she wants to hold newborns again and like all this kind of
My
stuff. And
goodness.
it was all about a soup pot because
Wow.
like you said, every hanger, every item has a story. And so a lot of times I say to my clients all the time, I'm intentionally being quiet right now. And they really
Mm,
appreciate that because they're just like, okay, so let me think through this. I'm just going to
right.
talk it out, and they can get to a totally different place when they can put on those earmuffs and just listen. What is happening inside of me right now?
Right. It really is important for um our clients, people who we work with to recognize that, right? What's going on inside and how long has this been happening, right? It's kind of like when you go to the doctor's office and they'll say, "Well, how long have you had this?" Right? No one wants to freely admit, "Well, I've had this for a few years now and I just now." It's kind of like it's a cumulative thought, and breaking it down is tremendous work. So I applaud you for your bravery because it's not easy. And that's why I wanted to highlight you on the show, because it's so important for us to move forward in our lives, right?
Mhm.
Letting go, whatever it may be, whether it's something in your closet, a memory, we have to find a way to let it go and find people like you in the process for certain behaviors and certain things.
Mhm.
So what can we leave the audience with today? If you were to provide a tip or tool that we can share with the audience base today, what would you recommend, Amanda?
So I'd really recommend leaning into that question of should versus want, and
Okay.
not just with clothing, but with everything. I should
Mm,
be on the PTO at school. I should have lunch with this friend that all she does is gossip the whole time. I should, really just tuning in and paying more attention to what energizes you, to what lights you up, to what sparks joy versus what drags you down or what might be just sort of this rule that you're blindly following, and really digging in. What is this rule? Where did this come from? And why am I doing this?
I love that so much because it applies it's not just our closets and cabinets and things. This is to everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what
Mm-hmm.
a beautiful statement. Thank you for sharing that. So if I were to ask you in all the work that you get to do you have a favorite piece of clothing or accessory, and how does it make you feel?
So all of my favorite clothes are Eileen Fisher.
Okay.
I love how flowy and easy they are. I have one in particular that's a yellow asymmetrical dress with pockets,
Okay.
and it's just the quality is outstanding. I always tell my clients buy fewer higher quality clothes,
Yep.
and she's such a great example of that. And I met her in a bathroom a couple months ago, and
Oh
I'm
my
like, she's
gosh.
one of my idols, and I lost my mind. It was such a dream come true.
That is so cool. Wow, what an incredible story. Yes, she has
Yeah.
a great mission. Like her company mission is a strong one.
Hmm.
So that is super cool. So, Amanda, if someone wanted to reach out to you to continue the conversation or to work with you, where's the best place for them to find you?
So they can find me at indigoorganizing.com. They can
Okay.
also find me at amandajefferson.com, and you can find my podcast at goodenoughish.com.
Excellent. So, I'll put all of those links in the show notes to make it easy for everyone. I thank you so much for your time today and your wisdom. I think everyone will get something out of it for sure. Have an amazing day, Amanda. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
You bet.